So my friends, today we are making a very special video. With the new MAGITECH system coming out, there are a lot of ways to craft all of those little crystalline thingies, right? So today we're gonna talk about which methods are the most efficient and which ones you may want to farm in order to maximize all of your gains. And if you're still unsure about what I'm talking about, if you go to your inventory, click on this button right here, I'm talking about the whole MAGITECH melting system. So there are a lot of items you can melt, there are a lot of items you can craft, use it for this, and then later use it for crafting various items. But it can be confusing as to what is the most efficient one. I already made small videos about that previously, but today I will be giving you pretty much the most efficient method when it comes to spending energy. So I've pretty much calculated all of the ways you can spend energy to gain these materials. So that includes, I even got a list. So Caiross, Path of Growth, Expeditions, Raids, Ruptures, and Repeater quests. I calculated all of them based on how many crystals you get per energy, and we're gonna talk about them. So first of all, I need to address how these crystal thingies will be calculated. So there are two main ways you can get them, right? One of the ways is by just gathering the items that you can sell and then later selling them. The problem with that is a lot of the gathering items are not that efficient. So some of the more efficient ones are stuff like Faint Cores, XP Potion Repeats, but we'll talk about them in more detail in just a second. For the rest, as you can see, the values you get are not that great. For example, let's take any gathering item, stuff like this is just 1 each. If you get one of the more premium drops, some of them can be like 3 each. I think the most expensive ones are something like Obsidian. Yeah, even then they are 3 each, at least for the raw form. So you need to know what to gather in order to maximize them. Now, the second method is converting gold into these little melting crystals. And the way we convert gold is, if you wanna calculate it by how much energy we have, we basically take every single way of spending energy to get gold and then calculate how much that gold is able to provide us with in terms of these crystals. So if you have like 1 billion gold stacked up, you may not even need to use the energy. However, if you are pretty low on gold, and trust me, if you use the gold methods for this, it will drain around like 2.5 to 3 million gold per day just to maximize the free energy without even talking about the refreshes. So you will want to constantly stock up on those. And the way you convert gold into these little crystal thingies, the most efficient method by far is by crafting these green yards. So the amount of items you need as well as the cost for them is so low compared to the amount of crystals you get being so high that this is by far the most efficient method out of anything I've seen so far. There are a few of these, such as the blue yarn and purple yarn, which come sort of close. Those are pretty decent, but again, not as efficient as the green yarn. And of course, honorable mention to the premium sewing scissors. However, since they require limited crafting item, they're not gonna be included in this list, even though they are also less efficient than the green yard. So, to craft a green yard, in total, you will need 2,679 gold. And the reason you need that specific amount is you need to gather on average 9 times. This means that in order to get 1 4-leaf clover, I've tested a lot of gathering, it seems like it has around 20% drop rate. Luckily, that item drops from Brazil, which you also need in here, so you'll need around 5 gathering actions in order to get both this and this. And since branches have around 50% drop rate from either peach or mango trees, you'll need 4 gatherings for this. So you will burn 9 gathering actions, and each glove, at least the purple tail glove, will have 100 actions. However, do not get tricked by this, they sometimes use 2 at once, and on average 1 glove will last you around 80 gatherings from what I've tested. So 9 gatherings means that it takes a little bit more than 10% of the durability from 1 glove, right? So that means in order to craft 1 green yarn, you will need to spend 1500 gold on the crafting recipe itself, and you will need to spend around 1179 gold in order to pay for the 9 gatherings when it comes to the general merchant shop for purchasing gloves, right? And in return for that 2679 gold, you will be getting a total of 109 MAGITECH crystal thingies. The reason for that is you get 100 for a single green yarn, and you have some leftovers. So when you gather these, you will need around 5 basils in order to get 1 leaf clover, but you only need 2 basils here. So you can sell the 3 remaining basils for another 3 crystals. And because branches only have 50% drop rate, you can sell the 4 extra mangoes or peaches for another 4. Also, I would recommend gathering mangoes because mangoes have a 3rd drop, and that is the little ice mango thing, which also sells for, I believe it was 2 crystals, right? I believe it was somewhere around 2. So you can sell that one as well. On average, it will be around 1. So 109 crystals for 2679 gold. That is the calculation we're going for. And now let's review every single method of how you can get these crystals and what is the most efficient one. And here we are in the trusty sheet. Let me just quickly see that you are able to see it perfectly. It looks good. So we got the 10 top methods in how to gather. You can see that some of them are marked as free to play. This means that these methods do not involve using gold for crafting green yarns. The problem with that is because you will need to do a lot of gathering when it comes to converting gold to those little green yarns. And free-to-play players simply do not have the amount of crafting required in order to go through most of these. So the free-to-play methods, basically the 8th, 6th and 4th place are listed here, and these do not involve any converting of gold to yarns. These are just the items that you can gather, not gather, but farm with energy without involving gold at all. And you will also see a certain number next to each method. This means that that is the amount of crystals you can get by spending 240 energy on that specified content. So for example, let's start with the 10th one, which is the worst one, and that is Expedition. So Expedition, if you spend 240 energy on Expedition, you are expected to get 7,987 of these crystals. And the drops that you get from Expedition are, at least from the 8 runs that I've done on average, keep in mind everything here is on average, I tested them with 240 energy each, and the drops are 2 skill books, 66 skill book pieces, 27 transcendence pieces, I will talk about those in a second, 3 of these blue items. Let me quickly show you which ones I'm referring to. So basically, where are they? These ones. They all have the same value, all 3 of these. So 3 blue ones, there is 3 purple ones. So this, or this, and 2 legendary ones. So either this, or this. All of the same tiers have the same costs, right? And on top of that, you get 80,700 gold, which you will convert into green yarns. Now, the problem is there's transcendence pieces. Those are leftovers. You could technically craft the higher transcendence like energy thingies and then convert those into symbols, which you can sell for the system. However, because they cost so much, if you look at this, if you look at the professions, we go to alchemy, you could use those symbols in order to craft these energy of harmonies or whichever one you get, and then later craft them into these. But if you look at the amount of gold required for those, it will actually remove over 70,000 gold just to craft the drops into the other means, which means that crafting green yarns and leaving the transcendence pieces alone is actually more efficient. So Expedition, lowest one, you get 7,987 if you sell everything apart from transcendence pieces and every other item that you get that is not possible to sell, stuff like rainbow ones, all of that. The 9th most efficient method is Caiross dungeon, whichever essence dungeon you choose to do. This one will only drop 3 items, so that is on average 417 essence, which you can sell for 10 each, 3 magic keeper armors. These are basically the rare drops that you can get from the dungeon. I'll actually just show it in the dungeon, it's a bit easier that way. These will sell for 50 each, and on average I got 3 of them in 240 energy. And on top of that, 147,000 gold, which you will later convert into green yarns for a total of 10,301 of these crystalline thingies. And keep in mind, when it comes to dungeons, all of the testing was done during the hot time event. This means that every single dungeon, raid, all of that is gonna give you 30% more gold. All of that excluding the pit request, because it does not work on the pit requests. Now the 8th most efficient method, and one of the free-to-play methods which does not require any gold involvement, is the repeat request for faint cores. So for this one, in 240 energy, you can get on average 1,371 faint cores and some blue and purple yarns. Those are sort of they sort of have an equal drop rate from what I've tested. So I took the total amount of yarns and I just split them in half. So in total I got 36 yarns. So the way we're gonna calculate this is 18 purple ones and 18 blue ones. And in total, if you sell all of the items from there, you will get 11,964 crystal thingies from 240 energy. Not too great, to be honest. The 7th most efficient method will be the Path of Growth Adventure. So this is the dungeons where you farm runes. We are of course talking about hard mode level 2. And since runes don't really give that much gold, the only thing we are going for is the gold drops from the dungeons. And in total you get 339,000 gold from 24 runs of this dungeon, which will convert into 13,793 crystal thingies after you craft all of those green yarns. On top of that, it's a good choice if you are farming runes, because we are not selling the runes. It's just not efficient to sell them, and you are kept with a lot of runes that you actually drop from there. So it's a decent investment if you are looking for runes specifically. Now the 6th method, the 6th most efficient method, another free-to-play one, will be the repeat request for unknown scrolls. So how unknown scrolls are calculated is, if you look into the summoning portal, do I have any? I do. We look at the probabilities for unknown scrolls and we can see the drop rates, right? 1% for 4-star, 15 for 3-star, and 41 and 42% for 2-star and 1-star. What we do with these is, whenever we summon them, we will be getting a lot of dupe pieces. I'll do 10, maybe I'll get a 4-star, lucky, right? No, I don't. So any pieces that you summon, as you can see, whenever you get a dupe, you will get 20 pieces of that monster. So in this case, let's say we got a single 3-star unit, right? That is 20 pieces, and once we get over to the exchange piece shop, for 3-star pieces, you can see the Breath of Lives have a 1-to-1 exchange ratio. 4 stars, they have 1-to-5, for 2 stars 1-to-10, and for 1 stars 1-to-30. So any pieces that we get from the unknown scrolls are used to convert to Breath of Life, and in turn we will be selling that Breath of Life for the magic crystals. So the total rewards you get from there are 60 Breath of Lives and 300 unknown scrolls. That was the average that I got from 240 runs. So once you convert all of the unknown scrolls into monster pieces and convert those into Breath of Lives, as well as some Breath of Life that you drop from the runs itself, you get a total of 15,900 crystal thingies in total. So overall, this method isn't that efficient when it comes to crystals. However, it's a very good choice if you are trying to skill up monster books for all units from 1-stars to 3-star, because those books will work on your whole account, not just on that specific unit. And if you are really low and want some extra stats, it's a decent option there. Now we're heading over to the top 5. So the 5th most efficient method to get these crystal thingies is raids. Yes, raids are actually pretty high. So let me talk about which raids I'm talking about. There are 6 in total. So there are 5 elite raids and there is Seal. I'm not gonna count this one because the rewards here are very horrible compared to the rest of them, because the recharge just costs so much compared to any other, right? But there are 5 raids in total, and the main drops we're looking at is the gold, the piece that they drop, as well as any of these, either the crafting item or the outfit item. And for these, only 2 of the raids are actually as efficient as possible. Is that a word? I don't know. So, Elite Boiling Waterfall, Naraka, and Tree of Heroes are the 2 most efficient raids. Twisted Marsh, Shadow Castle, and Foggy Prison simply do not provide enough drops for the amount of energy they cost, because Boiling Waterfall, it got very good drops, and it actually only costs 5 energy more than Mythos or Foggy, which will not be even close to giving you the amount of drops for the energy. And Tree of Heroes is another good option. It's a bit more expensive. I can't recharge yet. 65 energy per recharge, but the drops you get are way better. So you get way more gold, and these items, which you will of course be selling, because we are selling everything that we can, the items will be 2 times as worth as the Naraka items. And on average, both of these rates are sort of close. Boiling Waterfall is, for my calculations, around like 5% more efficient than Tree of Heroes. However, the main reason you would be doing raids when it comes to crystals is you want to get gear. And if you want to get gear, Tree of Heroes will be the obvious choice here, because 5-star gear, from what I've seen, can't even get S tier grades on their drops. So there really is no point to farming Boiling Waterfall unless you're going for some very specific item. So overall, you will probably want to be farming Elite Tree of Heroes, but disclaimer here, the calculations include everything being sold. So you will be getting gold and you will be getting gear, which you will be disassembling. So the only case in where I would recommend farming this is if you are looking for high grade gear. However, you do not intend to use any of the leftover gears for stuff like Succession Method, because if you keep all of that gear, you are losing a very big chunk of gold. It's like 30% of the total reward, and at that point it's just not worth it. So if you are looking for high substat grades on your items, then I would say it's worth it. Plus, you are left over with Sky Stones, which you cannot convert into these crystal thingies, as well as the enhancement stones you get from disassembling this gear, which you also kind of can't really convert into stones. So you will be getting decent gold amounts, you will be getting good substat grade items, but no items for Succession, plus some Sky Stones, plus a lot of enhancement gear. So Boiling Waterfall or Tree of Heroes comes in at number 5 with around 21,842 crystal thingies. And now the 4th best method, and the best method by far when it comes to free-to-play falls without a summoner pass, because this is the top way to gather these crystals without spending any gold on crafting the green yards, and that is repeat requests for XP potions, and those will yield you on average 23,604 crystals for each 240 energy spent. So this one is very self-explanatory. XP potion repeats will give you pretty much one item, low XP potions, and each low XP potion will sell for around 4 of these. Not around, it will sell for the exact amount of 4 of these. You get on average somewhere around just a bit shy of 200 of these potions, and if you sell these 200 potions, you will be getting 800 crystals per repeat request. There is a list saying that you get these, but I did, what was that, 30 runs, I didn't get a single one. So again, the drop rate is very low for these, so I'm not even gonna include them. But yeah, overall, once you sell off the XP potions, you get 23,604 for each 240 energy. Plus, these repeated quests give a lot of summoner XP, so it's a very decent option to level up all your summoners as well. And now the top 3 methods in how you can get these crystals. Again, these all involve gold, so these are pretty much only viable for Summoner Pass users. And the third one being the Path of Growth training. So Path of Growth training actually gives a lot of various drops which you can sell. So when we're looking at level 15, you get low XP potions, you get premium XP potions, you get Breath of Lives. I'm not even gonna count these pieces because these are super RNG and they are pretty much impossible to calculate. You get rainbow ones, you get Breath of Souls, you get some of these items which you can sell, and you get gold on top of that. So once you sell, the items we are gonna be selling is the low XP potions, premium XP potions, Breath of Lives, and Breath of Souls. Those are all gonna be sold, and of course the gold will be used to craft green yarn balls. So what you're left with is rainbow ones, as well as any monster pieces that you get, plus the initial amount of crystals that you will be getting, and that is 29,134 for each 240 energy spent. So when it comes to bingo events, Path of Growth training, or Path of Training, whatever it's called, will be the most efficient when it comes to getting these little crystals. Of course, a second reminder that all of the dungeons are tested during hot time events, so only Friday through Sunday these rates apply. During any other day, the gold you get will drop significantly, and these free-to-play methods will rise a little bit higher. For example, for Path of Training, the repeat XP request might be somewhere around equal to what Path of Growth training drops. Second most efficient way will be the Rupture during the hot time event, and this one very self-explanatory as well. In total, you will be getting 37,387 of these crystals for every 240 energy spent. And if we look at the drops from Rupture, there's only, I believe, 3, right? So gold, you get a bunch of it, plus the the hot time event will boost that even more. On average, you're looking at like good 120k gold per run. You also get a bunch of sky stones which are not included, so if you are planning on farming sky stones, this is probably one of the best methods, if not the best methods for that as well. And since these items cannot be sold, they are also not included in the calculation. So on top of being one of the most efficient methods because of gold and these items, Giga Claws are included, but you can keep them because they don't really contribute much. You are also getting a bunch of sky stones, enhancement shards, or rune shards based on whichever Rupture you are farming. So second best, Rupture during the hot time. Oh my god, the microphone fell. Now, the grand winner. You can probably already see which one that is, so I will not keep the suspense. That is the repeat requests for gold. And the good thing about this one is it actually does not rely on the hot time weekend, because the hot time event does not apply to repeat request drops. And even then, it is by far the most efficient method, yielding you 51,878 of these crystals for each 240 energy spent. So the drops from this, of course, only include 2 items. Pretty much only one of them is the most important one, and that's gold. The second one being unknown skulls. Both are included. If you remember how the unknown skull calculation worked for this, this is the same way it works. When you look at the amount you get from gold and from the unknown skulls contribute to around 10% of the total amount. So if you do not sell Breath of Life pieces you get from unknown skulls, you are looking at around like 46 to 47,000 in total. But if you do sell off the unknown skulls for, well, not sell but summon them and then exchange for Breath of Lives, the total will be over 50,000 of these crystals. And for the gold, of course, In 240 energy, you get over 1 million gold, and if you invest that million into green yarns, that'll be a lot of these crystals. And yeah, that is the most efficient ways to get these MAGITECH energies. In one day, at least when it comes to free-to-play spending, you refresh 48 of these energies, because they take half an hour to recharge one. 48 energies, so in total you need 96,000. So by using the most efficient method, you are looking just around 400 energy, or was it like 450 energy, to max out your daily cap. For any others, it's up to you to calculate. If you want to easily calculate how many of these you will need daily, you can simply take 96,000. You divide it by the amount that you get in 240 energy. So let's say I'm just looking at the rupture, right? I divide it by 3, and then you get this. You multiply it by 240, and bang, that is the result. Basically, in order to get the daily amount you need, you would need to spend 616 energy on ruptures, right? And with that amount of energy spent, you would get the amount of gold required to use it daily, right? So the most efficient one being the repeated quest, which in order to get 96,000 would be boom, boom, boom. I said it was around 240, right? Let me check what the exact amount. Yeah, 444 energy on the gold piece if you want to max it out fully. So yeah, that's just how you do it if you're interested to see which method you are using yourself. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow I have an even more fun video when it comes to this MAGITECH system. I've been grinding in Korea for a long time, so you might already imagine what the video will be. But yeah, that's about it, and peace.